there's some good to share and some not so good, but maybe let's start with the good news is the Kings clinching a playoff spot tonight. It is official, but not the way you probably wanted to do it out there.
No, I mean, it was close to being a really good game, and it's just deja vu from last weekend. It's just a really good Friday night, and then get that 3-0 lead, and then it's pretty much a carbon copy of what happened last weekend. Obviously, we're running with a short bench again. I mean, that's was a factor last weekend as well, but I don't know. We had some good penalty kills that kept us afloat, but just 5-on-5 and 6-on-5 couldn't keep the puck out of the net there when we needed to.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, same thing as last week. Now the second time in 3 games this Kings team has had a 3-0 lead and given it up and gone on to lose in overtime. Like overall, what's kind of been that feeling like knowing that's happened again tonight?
Well, it just we know we got a game plan to come out hard, and obviously our first 10 minutes wasn't that great. But once we kind of get a rhythm and we start, executing plays and goals, we have to, like we talked about before, is like we got to realize the mindset of, being able to shut it down. And it doesn't have to be a drastic change in our game, but you look at all 4 goals, they kind of get that shot from high in the slot, and it finds the back of the net. I mean, that's, it's a prime shooting area that should be an area that should be covered, and that's all 4 goals from a similar spot. We were aware of it, and we adjusted to what they were kind of doing there to create offense. But they got 4 shots, and they got 4 goals off of it.
Yeah, well, let's start to this game. You're up 2-0 after the first period, but it almost kind of felt like you're kind of lucky to be up 2-0 because, as you mentioned, it was not a great first 10 minutes. Victoria, all over you guys, but you get that goal from Adam Mendelson, and then you get that goal from Ryder Ringer, and it seems like, hey, maybe we don't really deserve this 2-0 lead, but we're going to take it, and we're going to try and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, the first 10 minutes, like you said, it wasn't our best. It took us a while to get going. We got 2. I mean, there's teams that, they're good enough to have an off night and win. We're not that team, and we don't want to be that team. We want to be our best every night. And if being our best is what it takes to win, then, that's just what we have to be. And that's, a good trait to have. But, we have those little lulls, and we came back and got 3, but I mean, it still wouldn't have been a complete game, and so that's something that we got to fix too. But, we did get that 2-0 lead, and obviously that's something to build on. And then going into the second, it carried over with an even period. But, lucky, maybe not lucky, but we did turn around in the last 10 minutes there. I thought played pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And then, second period, you go up 3-0 late in the period, and then they score just under 2 minutes later, and that's kind of when things seem to shift because you guys were having a really good second period up until that point. Then once they got that goal, they just took control for the rest of the way until the intermission.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the timing of that goal. It's right at the end of the second, and kind of after that point, they kind of took over the rest of that period, and I wouldn't say it carried on because we had a good kill at the second. We had 2 back-to-back kills in the third there. Sorry, and at that point we were comfortably, down about 10 minutes just before the TV timeout, and there's little checkpoints in the game where if you can get to that TV timeout with a 2-goal lead, okay, then you can kind of rest, regroup. But they get one at 10-10, so just before that mark, and then obviously, now in the last 10 minutes you look at that as like a different game altogether, and then they get that one with the last 2 and a couple rim opportunities that didn't get out, but just little details that came back and hurt us at the end.
And I don't know if you felt this out there too, but it seems with this team it just felt different out there tonight. Like there seemed to be almost there wasn't as much energy as we saw last night. Maybe a lack of determination. It seemed very casual out there.
Yeah, they're a really structured team, so there was a lot of X's and O's going out there. Like a lot of them adjusting and then us trying to adjust, and it felt kind of like a chess match out there. So it wasn't a whole lot of like action-packed plays. It was kind of, you would see just a control breakout, kind of a set, and they would adjust, we would adjust, and it, maybe not the most exciting brand. I wouldn't say it was like lack of energy. It was just 2 teams really trying to like I said, a chess match. And I think we're better when we have a little bit more flow to our game. Like we do want to be able to recognize what teams do well and kind of work against that. But once we find the recipe that works, we kind of have to stick with that for the whole game.
Yeah, and then third period again. You mentioned that they get that goal and to get within one, and then with the extra attacker out, a long shot for the point, and all the goals you mentioned had something in common. It was different. They weren't from right in front of the net today. They were from high slot, far away, which is something different that we're not really used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that kind of adjustment for them in the second period where they were keeping a guy not just in the slot but almost up on the blue line, and they got a couple good looks at it, and then that first goal, it kind of came across the crease and a back door. But yeah, then 2, 3, and 4 were all kind of that similar spot, and that's just kind of one of those things where, especially when you're protecting a lead, it's a habit to collapse to the house, protect the front of the net, which we did. But now the shots are coming from a further range, and Mets did a great job tonight, and I would say every one was a bit of a screen shot, seeing eye shot, and yeah, you can't fault them for that. But yeah, those pucks got through, and we got to do a better job of blocking those too. I mean, you look at some of the range of that third goal, and I think we probably could have got a body in front of it, but we didn't, and it ended up in the back of the net.
And you mentioned blocking shots too. That's something this team really excelled at in the early portions of the game. You're blocking everything that Victoria was throwing towards the net.
Yeah, and we got to see the penalty kill. I think officially we were 3 for 3, but one was kind of a short one. But yeah, I thought we did a good job, and we have some D and some forwards that thrive in those kind of moments. But yeah, 5-on-5, those block shots, they count too, and it's just the timing of it. I mean, it's like I said, it's a 5-on-6, and we win a couple faceoffs. We don't get the puck out, and they pulled the goalie with 2 minutes left, so they had a lot of time. I think there was about 3, maybe 4 faceoffs in that span, and yeah, we had a little game plan there. We've worked on it, but yeah, they got that shot when it counted.
Mm-hmm. Well, then overtime, again, same old story in overtime, OT, where, again, the Kings, just can't find a way to get that OT goal. I know we've brought this up in the past in previous games, but what is it about OT that just really hasn't gone the way of the Kings?
I wish I had that answer. I said just before the overtime there that the last thing on our bingo card was an overtime win this year. I think we've pretty much circled everything else or crossed off everything else, but we had a great look there. Luch and Gnarls kind of came in there on that little break in front of the net, and then they come in, and I mean, it wasn't the prettiest OT goal, so I think that's why it hurts a little bit more. But yeah, just overall kind of a little bit of mixed emotions. We get points in the last 5 games, but it could easily be 5 wins in a row for us. We in those 2 games we lost, we blew a 3-goal lead, so it's kind of all about perspective, and we're not really sure. Some things look good, some things not so good, but I mean, we clinch. That's I guess that's the other thing we've kind of scratched off the list here tonight. But yeah, now it's prepping for hitting the road here, and our schedule from here out in it's playoff atmosphere now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got to be ready to compete back-to-back nights, because that's what the playoffs is going to be. So it's great to have a good Friday night, but we got to follow that up. Like I said, we're not getting any new bodies anytime soon, so this group needs to be able to compete with what we have.
Yeah, so final stretch of the season, but you get that playoff spot now. It's about solidifying 7th place, but also I know this team has a goal of getting to 20 wins. You got 16 wins on the year. You need 4 more. You got 7 games left of the season. You go 4-3, you get to 20 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've had kind of circled. It looks good. Can honestly say it feels like we should already have that, just kind of going through all the games and the points we left on the table. But no, 7 games left. This is the best of 7 series. That's the mindset here. We got to win 4 or 3. So I think that's a good little challenge. I think that's going to be kind of a good little recipe to tell the guys here that, let's see if we can kind of mimic a playoff series going into the real playoffs. And hopefully that gives us a lot to kind of build off and kind of go through all those kind of ups and downs like we've been going through lately, but channel that into kind of a different mindset. Yeah.
Well, the Kings, tough OT loss 4-3 to Victoria, but at the end of the day, they do solidify their spot in the playoffs as they return for the first time since 2020. Harry, thank you very much for your time here postgame.
Thanks, sir.